What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this holy mess. I wanted to talk about this for a minute because when I hear certain things, my mind starts to wonder. And I start to make comparisons. I know that everyone is different. Everyone's experiences are different. And I definitely sympathize and empathize with anyone that has been a victim of being taken advantage of, whether you were an adult and definitely if you were a child. And there are a lot of people, unfortunately, that have had the experience of being molested. Okay? But one thing that I will say is there's a certain way I feel that people who were victims of that, especially when they were children, speak. And although a lot of them, they may act out in certain ways, like, for example, a young girl, she may have been taken advantage of a lot when she was a child, and then when she grows up, she may be very promiscuous and things like that. There's a lot of things psychology-wise there that I'm not going to dive into, so I get it. But in terms of the way some people speak about the experience, I just don't think that really deviates much. A lot of them don't even really want to go into speaking about what happened to them. But Larry Reid, I've heard some of the things that he has said about his situation. And to me, I have a theory on it. I'm definitely not here to say that these things did not happen to him. It's quite possible that it did. But I still have a theory behind it. I want to play a little clip from some audio that I played recently. And this goes back to a year ago. This is when he and bishoplamorwhitehead were going back and forth with each other on live after the situation happened at Bishop Lamorwhitehead's church. And there was something that he said in response to Bishop Lamorwhitehead that was saying some things about him. So I want to go ahead and play this. And again, it's not funny, but to me, I heard this, and I heard it before, and I've heard him talk about just the way he speaks about different body parts and what he's done with them or whatever. It just makes me question some things. So I just want to play this clip very briefly.
All right? When God put to my white face, all right? All right?
I understand.
Both of y'all need to be ashamed of yourself.
I understand you upset, but don't put stuff in my mouth I didn't say.
Yeah, all right. You're right. You're okay. Okay. Let me tell you something. All we got to do is play it back and show everybody how I laid on the floor. Show everybody. Joke about it.
I did that. I did that.
Let me tell you this, brother.
You're not dead.
No problem.
Nobody was killed.
No problem.
You have to be able to take a joke. You work on the
joke.
floor.
Don't nobody joke with my family like that, all right?
That ain't how this works. You can't be a public figure and then pick and choose. That's what people joke about. People joke on me all the time.
And y'all want to see it talk about, it's thumbtacks. It ain't no damn thumbtacks in my church. It ain't no thumbtacks in my church.
Whatever it is, it's ugly. And you got enough money to change it.
But Larry, let's talk about that. You're ugly. Let's talk about that. You're a beast. Okay? All right? You and Benjamin Franklin down there and Billy Schwartz down here, right? You're a beast. All right? You are ugly. Okay? You're an ugly homosexual, right? You said you're a homosexual. That's what you said.
No, I didn't say that.
You did say that. You said it. You did say it. You did say it. You didn't listen. You can say I said whatever you want to say. Don't make it. You quoted that you took nuts in your mouth. That's what you quoted. You quoted that.
That was because I was molested, nigga.
No.
I have not willingly taken no nuts in my mouth. But you was in prison, so how many nuts you took in your mouth? That's what I want to know. I want to know how many nuts you took in your mouth and why you didn't keep your nuts. That's what I want to know.
Bumping off of your chin, okay, on purpose, all right? And that's why
you upset.
the complete gospel.
You upset.
That's why you can't. And that's why you can't, all right?
All right. So when Bishop Whitehead, he was calling him ugly, which was funny and true. But when he said, you're a homosexual, you said you're a homosexual. He said, no, I didn't say that. And then Bishop Whitehead said, well, you said you had "and" in your mouth, "ANUTS" in your mouth. And then Larry Reid responds to say, that's because I was molested, nigga. Okay. Oh, God. Listen, I just wanted to talk about this because this is just my opinion, and you can let me know yours in the comment section. I don't even want to spend too much time on this because I just think it's disgusting, and I believe a lot of the things that Larry Reid says and talks about and does is disgusting. But listen, how many people do you know that have had that unfortunate experience happen to them, and they are explaining the body parts and all, like, and Larry Reid has talked about that. Like, I've heard the clips of him speaking about, have I sucked a D before? I have. Has another man sucked my D before? Yes, I have. Like, and him talking about having sex in his mouth of another man. And he's saying to Bishop Whitehead in that moment, that's because I was molested. How many people do you know that have been molested that are, like detailed and graphic like that? Seriously, my personal opinion, and this is just my personal opinion, I'm not saying that he did not experience those things, but it is quite possible that he is not being honest about it. And instead of just him coming out full throttle out of the closet, which he won't do because he doesn't believe in labels. We've laughed about that and talked about that over here before, is because his grift is with the church. The majority of the people that foolishly follow him are African American women and some gay men. The Bible talks about foolish women. So that is not a shock. That's why the majority of the people that go to church are women. I don't care what race they are, but you do see more of those who are melanated in the more melanated churches. They're primarily women. They're more women than men. The majority of the women, they will follow these people to the grave. And it is sad. And I speak from my own experience because many, many, many years ago, I was going to a church and I liked it and I was really spending a whole lot of time there. And then, because I felt like I was connecting with the people, the other ladies and stuff that were going there. But I just woke up one day and I was like, I need to leave here. And it wasn't anything that was going on in terms of, stuff going on with the people that were there. It was just the mere fact that the majority of the people that were going there were single women, and I was a happily married woman. And my husband, he visited from time to time, but he didn't want to go. And one day I just woke up and I was like, you know what? If I keep going to this church, I'm probably going to wind up single like the rest of these women. And it's not to knock any single women. I'm not. But what I'm saying is a lot of women go to these churches and they just blindly follow the leaders and they don't have their own minds. And so this is why he has the following that he has, and that he has women that are giving him money that he's using on men. But he will never come out and admit that he is a homosexual because for a lot of those same women, that would be the deal breaker for them. Not saying that they would actually have ever had a chance with him, but some may think that they do. And others, they may, just be so convicted in their spirituality that they just wouldn't be able to be under the leadership of a man that is a devout and admitted homosexual. But hey, as long as you don't come out and say it, then that's okay. Even though he has been exposed, even though a lot of his characteristics and mannerisms would prove to be that of a homosexual man, but they can foolishly stay in denial if the person doesn't come out and say anything, right? And that's what I believe the Bible talks about, the foolish and silly women, So he makes, I feel, a mockery out of them. He makes money off of them, and they blindly continue to follow him. But I believe, my personal opinion is that he uses this thing about being molested so that in the instances where he is exposed to having been with the man, they will give him a little bit of grace to say, well, he was molested by a man or by men when he was a young guy. So he's probably still fighting those demons and fighting that homosexual spirit. And, I'm telling you, I'm telling you guys, this is what I believe. I believe that he has become a bit more comfortable talking about these situations. My personal opinion is if it did happen, I don't believe that he would really be talking about it that way. What person do you know that has been molested that's comfortable talking about that, especially in a public forum, and not just talking about it, but in the way that he discusses it? I've heard audio of him talking about how he talked to his daughter to say that he had dingleberries in his mouth. That's him talking about testicles. I've heard audio of him talking about how his remembrance was of a male's crotch and all this stuff. Like, I don't think that people who really were molested when they were children talk about it like that. But there is this stigma and this belief that a lot of men who are homosexual, they are because they were touched when they were children, if you get my drift. So if he can talk about his experience when he was a child growing up and having to be forced to suck a man's ding-a-ling and suck a man's dingleberries, like he calls them, but they're testicles, but yet you're doing that as an adult. But you don't believe in labels, so you're not saying you're homosexual. Like Bishop Whitehead said, you said you're homosexual. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I might do the things a homosexual does, but I didn't say that. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And even after all of this, the people who follow him have grown. A lot of people have, still continued to support him financially. And he's laughing all the way to the bank. But listen, everything has an expiration date. And when you're doing things in the name of the Lord, and like I played that audio of him sounding psychotic, supposedly praying, it just makes me think, who could sit under this? Who could continue to subject themselves to this? You have to be careful about what you allow to, be imparted into your spirit, spiritually. And if this man claims to be a spiritual leader and a man of God and all this other stuff, I'm just here to say that I call him a liar. I don't believe there's anything godly about him whatsoever. And I just really feel disturbed when I see that people are caught up in cult-like behavior or actually in a cult. It happens so much. And I am just disturbed by it. I talk about this not because I am doing it because of any other content creators that are talking about it. It's just something that has bothered me for a while. And after hearing Levontrayeandrews' interview last year and then the other people that have come out this year, I just have my thoughts about this monster, my personal opinion, and I want to share them. And it may not change anyone's mind about him, but I am happy to hear that there are people that are starting to speak up. I've had a few people in my comment section that were like, yeah, I used to follow him, I admit it, but I had to stop. And I'm glad to hear that. So that at least makes me feel better in talking about this, because I may not change anyone's mind. And I'm actually not here to change anyone's mind, but what I am here is to share and let you know what is on my mind about him and about his actions. And so you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section. How do you feel about him using this story of being molested as an end for people to understand if he, quote unquote, slips and makes a mistake, or his dingling just accidentally slipped into another man's butthole and he ejaculates in them. So he says that, well, my spirit is in you now. That is so disgusting. Listen, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know what you think about him using molestation and using these women in the name of the Lord to make a mockery and make money. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.